Hey, I'm here again with Veneble. She is the Director of Development at Centric Entertainment. And welcome back, Allie.
Thanks. Hi.
So I want to talk now about such a critical component in becoming an artist or becoming any other facet of the music industry, whether you want to become a lawyer, you want to become a publicist, you want to become, anything in entertainment, is developing your brand. And I know that that's an area you really specialize in, is brand development. So let's kind of start with how you begin that process when you see some YouTube videos and you start to see something that interests you. Where does brand development begin?
It's such a objective thing, right? Everyone has a different way that they digest art and what is quality and good to them, because it's subjective. Everyone has a different taste. And so I think that is fine. It can exist in itself, but there is some sort of level or standard that you can tell its quality. So I can listen or watch a punk rock video that's not my vibe by any means, but I can say, wow, that was really well done, and I get their brand. So I think everything starts with an artist when it comes to the music side of it. And then even as a person, I think building your brand is important. That sounds so gross sometimes, but I think on a personal front, who you surround yourself with is huge. I'm a big believer in surrounding myself with people that are way better and smarter than I am. And people you kind of fool people in a way of that you get lumped in with those people. And then that helps bring more opportunity and experience that you're just going to become a sponge to and know secondhand. So I really believe in that on the personal front. But as far as like an artist goes, I love visual artists, and anyone that has those skill sets. I can see something and know if it's good, but I don't have the physical skill set myself, which is so frustrating sometimes. But I love finding those photographers. Here's a great example. My friend Liza Ann, she's an amazing artist. She's on Arts and Crafts, which is Spice record label, and her branding has really shifted in a cool way because I think it has a lot to do with a photographer she's been working with. His name's Brett Warren. He's so cool. He just moved from Nashville to New York, and he has a very fashion forward aesthetic. And it's kind of thrown her into this really cool brand world where now she's walking a show in New York Fashion Week. And I don't think that would have happened without some of those visual images happening between those two. So I think there's a lot of collaboration in songwriting and producing. Oh my gosh, that your brand is sonically so closely tied to a producer.
So, I think it's important for people who are kind of new to this whole concept to establish some of the things you're talking about. Most people think of a brand as your logo and the picture that's on the cover of your record. That's not really what you're saying at all. It sounds like what you're saying, your brand is everything you do every day, the music you make, the personality you put out, the relationships you carry. It's all part of your brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you can tell really quick if someone knows who they are based on what they put out in the world.
It's really fascinating.
If they don't know who they are, why should you join the journey? Whether it's a personal one or an artist one.
And how do you see that relate to people who are successful with social media?
What do you mean?
Do you see a parallel between people who carry themselves like that and have that natural brand and the ability to then present that on social media? Or should social media sort of be a made up brand that you do that always looks perfect?
Yeah. I think this generation below me, my own generation, it's cliche now to say, but I do think we are all craving authenticity because the generations before us, it was just a logo. It was just an album cover and there was nothing else there. And so now we have so much accessibility to who a person is that I think people really respond to raw things. And it's so funny. I have a friend who works in social media, and 9 times out of 10, this is so sad about our world, but a selfie gets the most likes out of any other post that's curated.
Really?
Like, it's the highest reacting type of post you can do. And I think that's a little like self-indulgent, but then also it's like people just want to know you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think social media and where that's going with all of the brand sponsorships you can do, I think it's such a fine line how you do it and integrate it into your world. I think people are a lot more okay with that integration. Like, it's not uncool to be, it's kind of a great marketing and business platform now, which is awesome. So I think we're talking about two different things of like your artistry or you as a person doing that type of social media presence.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a world that it's intense and it's fascinating. I think, you know, this is an area I really want to encourage people to reach out to you privately and talk with you, because it's so specific to who that person is. It's very hard to talk about this in an overarching way. It's really, you know, it's something I can only relate it to myself as a producer on a song by song basis. I could never give anybody advice on how to make music for everything. Nor can you really give advice to anybody on how to brand everything. It's like you've got to really see it and dial into it. And in my opinion, a lot of times, and particularly in this era musically and socially, you know, you're dialing into things that are kind of quirky and unique about something. That stuff is really, you know, back making records during the CD era and even the vinyl era and the early, you know, downloading era, you tried to hide the quirks of people. It was like, ooh, don't let anybody see that. That's awkward. Now, those things really can be wonderful highlights in a brand, you know? People think differently now. They react to things like that differently. And I think, you know, it takes, I don't know from the inside necessarily if an artist can always see those quirks about themselves and know how to bring them to life. You know? So I think I would really encourage our Musicians Council audience to bring themselves to our experts, to people like Ali, and let, you know, connect personally and understand what, you know, that personal connection starts to bring out all of those things. You know?
No, that's a good point.
I mean, can you think of any two artists you've worked with as a manager that you've just put the same application of branding to?
So I think, okay, Joel Kraus is a great example. So he started in country, and he's not a country artist at all. It's like, unfortunately, Nashville trying to shove it down the path that they know best. And so when we signed Joel Kraus at Iconic, him and I hit it off a lot because I was like, you're not country. Like, why are you, what? So we actually got to be part of a really cool rebrand development for him that I was really proud of. And I found this photographer. Her name's Amelia Parr. She's so awesome. She doesn't use flash. She doesn't use studio. It's all natural light. And it's really raw feeling, rock and roll. And his new songs were very edgy and rock and roll, which is who he is. And so it was just cool to dig into his psyche and be like, what do you like? Like, I think being a good student is what will make of what you like out in the world will make you a better person for your own brand and knowing what you want yours to look like. So I think studying art, studying graphics, studying aesthetics, like of artists or people that are doing it in a way that you love. The best art is all stolen art, right? Like, we're all kind of redoing the same thing in a different way, and there's nothing new under the sun, right? And so I think it's just finding your little twist and flavor that is you.
Yeah, but I also want to point out something that you just did that is really important. You just showed how a good manager, somebody who has great artistic and branding instincts, is also a conduit between things. Because you looked at an artist and you looked at a photographer and you married them together. And that then becomes a core element of creating a visual image and a brand.
Right.
So it's not about just paying attention to the music and the artist. It's also about spending your life being aware of, like you said, studying art, studying things, but also taking the time to really, experience and appreciate photographers and people like that. And you seem to look at them the way you look at artists, even though you're not about to manage them, but you're very cognizant of who they are and what they could bring to something you pair them with.
It's funny. It's funny when my husband and I were first dating, you ask those stupid questions of like, if you could have one superhero power, what would it be? And I told him, I wish I could know everyone in the world, which sounds exhausting. But the reason is because if I could connect the right person, like I feel like I have a knack for that. And I think being aware and knowing as many people as you can and having genuine relationships with them where then you can leverage those and pair them, it's like magic.
Well, I'll tell you, I am looking forward to coming back, and we're going to talk about the connections you make and all the things that you do in Nashville and how they affect people. So let's come back and we'll talk about that.